laughter to screams, a Father's Day turned bloodbath. The air hung heavy, thick with the sweet aroma of barbecue and the joyous shrieks of children playing. It was Father's Day, a picture-perfect afternoon in the idyllic town of Sunnyvale. The Thompson family, known for their warmth and laughter, were the epitome of American happiness. No one suspected the horror that lurked beneath the surface, waiting to explode. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the manicured lawns, a chill settled in the air. The laughter died down, replaced by a silence so profound, so absolute it seemed to hum. The first screams, raw and primal, ripped through the peace like shards of glass. Neighbours, alerted by the blood-curdling cries, rushed to their windows, their faces pale with terror. The police arrived to a scene of unimaginable carnage. The Thompson house, once a beacon of joy, was now a charnel house. Inside, the officers found the lifeless bodies of John and Mary Thompson, their faces frozen in a mask of eternal terror. But it was the sight in the living room, bathed in the eerie glow of the television, that truly chilled them to the bone. Little Emily Thompson, her blonde curls matted with blood, clutched a blood-soaked teddy bear, her innocent eyes staring vacantly at the flickering screen. And in the centre of the room, surrounded by a pool of crimson, lay the patriarch, Richard Thompson, a single crimson rose clutched in his lifeless hand. This was no robbery gone wrong, this was a massacre executed with chilling precision. Whispers of madness, unravelling the clues. The investigation sent shockwaves through Sunnyvale. The idyllic town where people left their doors unlocked and children played freely was now gripped by fear and suspicion. Detectives, their faces grim, meticulously combed the crime scene for clues. Each piece of evidence, each bloodstain, each stray fibre whispered a tale of unimaginable cruelty. The murder weapon, a heavy cast-iron fireplace poker, lay discarded near Richard's outstretched hand. Fingerprints, later confirmed to be Richard's, were the only ones found on the weapon. The brutality of the murders, the sheer rage with which they were committed, pointed to a deep-seated hatred, a personal vendetta. But who could harbour such animosity towards the seemingly perfect Thompson family? As the investigation unfolded, a web of secrets began to unravel. Whispers of Richard's dark past, of a hidden temper and a gambling addiction, began to surface. Financial records revealed a mountain of debt and a series of large withdrawals made in the days leading up to the murders. Was Richard's perfect life a facade, carefully constructed to hide a dark secret? The detectives, their eyes hardened by years of dealing with the worst of humanity, began to suspect that the key to the murders lay not in some shadowy intruder, but within the walls of the Thompson house itself. The monster they feared was not some unknown entity, but someone who had shared their meals, their laughter, their lives. The mind of a monster delving into depravity. The focus of the investigation shifted to Richard Thompson, the seemingly devoted husband and father. Psychologists, brought in to analyze the crime scene and Richard's history, painted a chilling portrait of a man slowly unraveling under the weight of his own secrets. Richard, they concluded, was a master manipulator, a man skilled at presenting a charming facade to the world, while harbouring a maelstrom of dark emotions beneath the surface. His gambling addiction, they argued, was not merely a vice, but a symptom of a deeper pathology, a desperate need for control and a complete inability to cope with failure. As his debts mounted and his carefully constructed life began to crumble, Richard's facade began to crack, revealing the monster lurking beneath. The murders, they theorized, were not a random act of violence, but a carefully orchestrated act of desperation. Richard, driven to the brink by his own demons, had chosen to end his family's suffering, to spare them from the shame and humiliation of his failures. His suicide, a final act of cowardice, was an attempt to escape the consequences of his actions. The brutality of the murders, the sheer savagery with which he had taken the lives of his wife and child, spoke volumes about the darkness that had consumed him. Richard Thompson, the man who had once been the envy of his neighbours, had become the embodiment of their worst nightmares.